Hello, this is Andrew, founder and CEO of Vendium Global. The topic of this video is how to create and promote high-performing teams across cultures. I will reveal a bit of a secret from the start, and that is that all of this information can be used for teams both within the same country and also if we're crossing a border. This is because cultures can differ on a team even if they live within the same neighborhood. Each of us has our own internal culture, whether it be from our organization, religion, location, or any other factor that goes into it. Our workplace is just one of our cultures. This means that our step one is first to define our culture. And here I'm talking about our team and organization's culture. It is an objective fact that culture will beat strategy every time. And why is that? Well, think of a time when you had a deadline to hit that may have come out of nowhere. A team with a strong high-performance culture will pick up the challenge and shine through it. A team with a strong strategy is now outside of their plan. They could become paralyzed or even worse, fall apart. The perfect strategy only exists during the planning process. So to build the high-performance foundation, we first need a high-performance culture. To define our terms, culture is a collection of norms, values, and beliefs within our teams and also our organizations. For norms, these are the building blocks of predictability and the environments in which we work. We all have worked for leaders that think that fear is a motivator to us. While they aren't wrong, it becomes exhausting and can diminish morale very quickly. In short, no one likes working for a jerk and will not go out of their way for one. You see, humans are motivated by three things. The first is to avoid something bad. This is something such as aggression from a leader or punishment from them. The second, this is to gain something good. This may be a bonus or award of some kind. Or third, this is the area in which high-performing teams most often operate, is an existential accomplishment. This is created by the feel-good chemicals that are released from our brains when we help others accomplish a goal or do something that even surprised ourselves. We get these releases of feel-good chemicals because we are hardwired to support each other. While this is true, traditional corporate environments push us away from this and make us want to achieve for ourselves and also avoid the scorn from our bosses. A bit of a funny example is that our teams are like runners racing around a track. The organization wants the runners to have the fastest time overall. Some of us may be faster and some may be slower, but the efforts of all will benefit the organization. Even with this being the case, traditional corporate environments encourage individual runners to be the fastest, and they reward the ones that are. Think about what this does. This causes runners to trip each other, hold back their training tips, and also so much more. It takes away from the focus of performance and puts it on defense because you're afraid of someone tripping you. I use this analogy because it shows how silly it is that we promote these things. Your team is not your competition. They are your allies to make everyone better. A high-performing team environment is a place where ideas, problems, and alternatives can be shared without the fear of reprisal. It is a place where people help each other to accomplish together. Now, past the first stage of culture, we have values. Identifying your team's values and aligning them with your purpose speeds all efforts within the organization. This is often the how that teams operate within. Why is this important to us? Well, values that we practice will ensure that we are aligned with how we approach certain situations. As an example, integrity should be at the forefront of values within a team. Be honest with each other and be honest with your customers, both internal and external, to build an environment of absolute trust, not one of deflection or excuses. Each value is an area where team members should be held accountable, and they act as the foundation for high performance. Further examples include the value of speed, encouraging the team to work until completion of a task or project. The value of initiative, encouraging forward-thinking mindsets. The value of creativity, encouraging innovation. Whichever values you define, be sure that they address team conflict, trust, respect, communication, personal accountability, and innovation. Without these, any bout of high performance will only be short-lived. Now for the beliefs portion of culture. The team members must know that their work matters and where it fits into the rest of the team's goals. In fact, all members of the team should know each other's roles and the work that they do. This gives the individual a sense of pride and going to the existential portion of human motivation, and also ensures that the team knows that all members are actually pulling their own weight. Does the team believe in what they're doing? Do they know the higher cause that they're working towards? And also, does the team know that they're a part of something bigger than themselves? This is a portion of culture which gets us through the very worst of times. I have a scenario for you. You look to your left and you look to your right on a Saturday after already working a 60-hour work week. If your teammates are there right with you, then you know that you have a sound belief structure. They know the purpose that they're working towards, and even though it's uncomfortable, they're building something that's bigger than themselves. They are there to support each other, and you are there to support them. The task becomes less relevant, just something that you need to sort out in order to help your team members. On to step 2. Define your goals. When you define your goals, there are a number of factors in place. Your goals should be clearly defined, clearly communicated, measured, and also prioritized. Even beyond this, I recommend that our clients have a stretch goal that isn't defined. There are certain goals that the organization needs to operate, but the purpose of not defining a stretch goal is to create an environment of friendly competition, encourage innovation, and let your team run within their passions. We want them to be clearly defined so everyone on the team understands what the goals are. We want them to be clearly communicated so everyone knows that the goals are part of their daily activities and not just something that we're going to get around to at some point. This communication is there as a rallying cry for those spending their time on it. What is in front of us is something that we will always focus on. The team will start to look at the goals as something to defeat, a worthy adversary, there to be beaten with the collective strength of our team. The enemy is always outside of the gate, and in this case, the goal becomes what we unite under. The total team should work together to define the goals, prioritize the goals, and also assign owners of each. We apply metrics to have quantifiable completion and data to make future improvements. So now that we have the foundation with our culture and goals in mind, how do we build them into our team roles? With all of this talk of teams, I need to emphasize that not all of the tasks are team tasks and not all of the roles are team roles. Many of them need to be performed by an individual. The roles are there to define the owner of that function, and that owner should know when to draw in team support when they need it. The database way to do this is to pull in your talent management function. We want them to assess and catalog the skills of the individuals that make up the team as a collective. As an example, if you have a complex project coming up and need someone with a specialized skill set, this may be a foreign language, skills on a certain program, or experience working with another team, we want to know where we can access that. Even beyond this, having skills on your team tracked and quantified, we get a number of added benefits. The first is that we have objective data for promotions and talent deployment. Second is that we don't need to rely as much on outside contractors if someone within our team already has the skills. This obviously saves us both time and money. Number 3 is that we can have a greater respect for those on our team, knowing what they've accomplished and the skills that they bring to the table. 4 is that we objectively know if we're putting the right team together for a certain function or for a project. And finally, 5th, it creates a drive for the team to seek further development. When directed, ego can be a good thing, and having more credentials is a wonderful way for both the individual and organization to shine. Tracked and quantified saves us from impertinent team meetings, wasted time, or the sense of guilt by not pulling everyone together. So with the culture, goals, and roles defined, we can finally move to operations and maintenance. This is where we bring back in the importance of working across cultures. Think of a pyramid. At the base of this is what we've already automated or what we're currently having service providers do for us. These are important to track because we do not want to waste time or resources on things that are out of sight and out of mind. This is especially important if the function is being performed outside the country. Cross-cultural communication breakdowns can misrepresent the utility of a function. The next level above the automate line is to automate. These are the functions that we have identified as being able to automate, but for whatever reason, we just haven't yet. I will share more detail about how to identify in the process of automating a function in another video, but the high level is that if you can process map it, then you can most likely automate it. Automation is done when you can clearly define if this occurs, then do this. In some cases, this stage may even have roles that are already partially automated, such as a call center. This stage is important because the more that we can automate and the more quickly we can automate, the faster the humans can focus on more impactful duties. At the top of the pyramid, we get to where we need human involvement. These are tasks that require strategic and also creative thinking. This is a stage where high-performing teams thrive because it is the machine tasks that have been given to the machines, and the humans can use their logic, creativity, and skills to accomplish great things. To me, this is the heart of human resources. We so often think of HR as the warm and fuzzy portion of the business, but I would disagree. Think of it as a factory. The factory is combined of many machines, or teams in our case. and those machines are made up of many parts or individuals. It is the role of HR to ensure that the right parts are in the machines and that the machines run as effectively as possible. People that work well together make high-performing teams. Teams that work well together make high-performing organizations. As with a top-performing factory, we need measurement to have objective data to make improvements. A business expression that I enjoy is steel sharpens steel. High-performing teams need high-performing leaders to sharpen them with experience, talent, and insights. Just as with a high-performing machine, we have many moving parts, and I've gone through a lot of information, so I'll briefly summarize. A high-performing team needs a strong and adaptable culture as its foundation, clear goals and objectives built with purpose and prioritization, the right people in the right place with strong leadership and skill tracking, proper tools and automation to allow the humans to focus on the human work. And lastly, efficient processes and measurements to operate within and improve upon. With all these items, geography and culture become a benefit and not a drawback to high-performing teams. We can use the diversity of thought and unite it under common culture, goals, and process. With all of these items, you can have high-performing teams across cultures. Thank you for watching. I hope that you found this helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.